Hey, man, welcome to the third edition of Sticks-N-ShiTalk. We sitting here in a wonderful location. We got blessed to be here. We're at Davidoff of Geneva, one of the best lounges in the city by far. Upscale, has everything you need, and all the accessories, all the cigars you can want. Not just Davidoff, but across the line. And, man, I'm here to introduce the people, man. Y'all ready for it? Can y'all imagine this already? We on episode 3.
It went by fast, man.
It went by fast, man. It feels good. We're getting great reviews, and people are really loving the show, man. So we'll shout out to y'all. Thank you. If you have anything else that you want us to talk about, feel free to hit us up. Y'all see us in the streets. Y'all hit up the inbox. Y'all got our phones, text us. We'll talk about it, man. But on my right, I got the man himself, Mr. J. Tino. How's it going, bro?
Steve in the building.
That's him.
West.
That's him. My man, the Soapbox Heroes himself, Mr. Tyrone Irvin.
Yeah, but don't call me because I might not pay my bill this month. The COVID got me tapped out.
And he also got that Fiesta phone. That thing don't work anyway.
Yeah, I got one of them basement phones.
I thought you were gonna get your $400 stimulus, man.
I haven't
You can pay 2 phone bills with that.
I haven't got no stimulus. I haven't been stimulated.
You make all that money. You make too much money for stimulus.
Yeah, you make too much.
And then my man Delvin, the expert himself. What's up, baby?
What's up, baby? It's good.
Everything good?
Yeah, episode 3, man.
Let's make it pop, man.
Yeah.
Let's make it pop. What we smoking today, Jay?
Oh man, look, we got the Camacho Nicaragua. This was released in July
20th.
July 20th of this year.
Hot off the presses.
So, little quick story on Camacho. The very first stick I ever smoked is the Camacho Corojo. That actually got me into cigars like 7 years ago. So, this should be a treat. I'm liking what I'm feeling and smelling from it already. So, we're going to go ahead and light this one up and give y'all a review when we're done.
Yeah, what's really dope about Camacho is that we are in Davidoff, and Camacho is a subsidiary of Davidoff. Let me ask you, since you mentioned that story, and I'm asking everybody this question. We've never talked about this. I want y'all to go by real quick and talk about, just say 2 things. One, what was the first stick that got you smoking and why? And then also, how often do you go back to that stick? Del, go ahead first.
Man, probably the first stick I really ever fell in love with was Drew Estates. It was a Liga. And that was just something that really, really spoke out to me. And I go back to it every now and then. And that was one of the first sticks I had when I had like a big occasion, something to celebrate. I always kind of go back to that.
To that one?
Yeah.
How'd you get it? Somebody just give it to you, say, hey, try this? Or what was it?
Say, hey, try this. Now, when I'm really in a good space, I get a bonus, I get paid, I'll have a Churchill. So that's probably my second love.
Right. So you mean you get those every other Thursday? Every Thursday you pick up a Churchill?
Every Thursday.
So which Liga was it? The 9, the 52? What was it?
It was a 9.
9's always a great stick.
9's great
That's
stick.
a staple. What about you, T?
I think the first stick I smoked was an acid. And have I been back? No, I don't do acid.
No, that's fine.
So,
that's totally fine.
no. But
it's a great starter stick for a lot of people.
Well,
that was actually my second stick.
It was a starter stick for me, and then I ran into the Jaime Garcia. And I started to like those, and I moved on and progressed from there. And I like Ashtons. I would really like Connecticut's, so I'd start to venture toward more Connecticut's. And then
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad he said that because a lot of people who smoke cigars, they really think that if you go to a Connecticut or a milder stick or whatever the case may be, that you're not really a smoker. That's not true. You should be able to take advantage of all of them.
Yeah, I like to take.
So you said
taste
Camacho
everything.
Corojo got you started, right?
Yeah, the Camacho Corojo was introduced to me, excuse me, by my cousin J.U. Shout out to J.U. At home, loving this Kamala Harris choice, but we'll get on that later.
He got on his Kamala Harris pom-pom.
Her name is Kamala, bro. Kamala passed away.
I call her Kamala.
It matters who she's in front of.
Call her Kamala.
Yeah, we're
I'm
gonna
call
get
him
there.
Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
So I didn't start with Connecticut's or flavor sticks. I went right into the medium full with the Corojo. And funny thing is, I went back to it recently. I found it in a bid for like $60 for a box of 20, and I bought the box of 20. So I have some now in a Robusto size. It's still one of my favorite sticks to light up everyday sticks. Obviously, I didn't progressed a lot since then, but I still smoke it to this day. I still go back to it, and that's one of the reasons why I have not I don't smoke too many Connecticut's today, maybe 2, and I definitely don't light up that many flavored cigars, but it's just where my palate started.
Yeah.
I kind of kept in that medium full space.
Well, I was introduced with the Rocky Patel 1999 vintage Connecticut. That was kind of brought me in the game. That was the first one.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I go back to it every now and then. I did before. I go back to maybe a couple times a year. It's a great stick to smoke in the morning with some tea or coffee or whatever. I'm not going to it right now because, we've kind of canceled Rocky Patel, what's going on. But
Who?
Rocky Patel?
Well, he's canceled. That's what who was supposed to be.
Oh, my bad. I thought you just practicing your owl voices.
Nah.
So so yeah, but that's what started me too, though. It's always good to hear what starts you, man, because sometimes you got to go back to that to get going, man. I know we smoke a lot of heavier sticks now. We smoke a lot of full body sticks, and every now and then you got to take a break just to get your taste buds back because you can burn them up.
Yeah, especially like you said, something in the morning. Get a good Connecticut in the morning.
Good coffee stick.
Yeah.
Good coffee
I smoke
stick.
mine
Chai
with a lot of
tea.
Chai.
Yeah,
Chai
green
latte.
Chai is always good with sticks. So
Yo, man.
let's go ahead and light it
All
up
this
and get
talk.
into
Let's
this
get this
first topic.
going, bro.
do
Let's get
this.
this going.
What is our first topic?
How you guys feeling about this Kamala Harris vote? I mean, anybody who's watched my show or seen my Facebook or heard me on the radio knows how I feel about Biden himself. How do you feel about Kamala Harris? Does that help? Does that hurt? What do you feel for you personally?
For me personally, it's the establishment pick. It's the safe pick for the people who want to keep the status quo. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, politically, they're very close to the same animal. They both acquiesce to big business, to corporations, to wherever the pressure comes from. A lot of the things that Kamala did in California was just to advance herself. So now she's the vice president. She wants to be the president. She's going to do whatever it takes to advance herself, even if she have to throw people under the bus. Kamala Harris, it wasn't too long ago, she was equating Joe Biden to a racist. It
Not
was
equating. She was calling him
literally
directly.
right,
called her
right. And then, but then the funny part about that is she already had shirts made up for the diss. So we have to look at the political calculations all the way around. Kamala Harris, Oscar Grant, we
Alan Bluford.
We have to go there.
forget Alan.
And then the funny part is even in the Trump administration, you got Steve Mnuchin. But you have to realize that Kamala Harris didn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin when his bank was dogging old people out when they was losing money in the last recession. She actually made way for him to get away with it. And so to me, it's business as usual. She was a very easy pick. You could see it coming. A couple weeks ago, Joe Biden had some notes that leaked. And the first note was, I'm not going to say.
He wrote those notes?
Yeah, he wrote the
He
notes.
actually wrote them himself.
He wrote in the notes, and
Wow,
but
I
I'm
didn't think he had that
paraphrasing,
left.
so I'm not saying it verbatim.
Okay.
But it was something like, "Forgive Kamala Harris." Like he had to tell himself to forgive Kamala Harris. These people are political animals. What he's doing right now is the same thing Barack Obama did. Barack Obama got Joe Biden because Joe Biden could go get the Dixiecrat white people.
Right.
All right? It wasn't that he liked him. It wasn't that they got along. It wasn't that, because remember, Joe
Or if they
Biden
agreed on anything.
Joe Biden was the one who said he's a clean, articulate black man that could speak,
Right.
And so they didn't like each other, but he knew he had to get him to get a certain constituency. That's the same thing Joe
working
Biden
white
is trying
class
to
vote.
do. Huh?
That get the working white class vote.
Yes, to get the working white class vote. And so now they assume that Kamala Harris is going to get the working black people vote.
I think even more than the working black people vote, they'll get that black woman vote. And once you get that black woman vote, that pretty much controls the black vote.
And and the black vote over, I would
And
say
they're falling
probably
for it.
50, because Clyburn gonna get out there. Ooh, they're both wonderful, and and they're gonna say, ooh yeah, Clyburn, is that what you said? Turn up
Can
the
you-
TV. I think he said we should love him.
Can
He
you
said we
imagine how
should love
much
him?
Sheila Jackson Lee is going to run and be in front of the camera behind this?
Well, it's they want to stay in office as long as they can. And so they're gonna get
It's a
behind the
problem.
machine. When I heard that Kamala Harris was going to be the vice president, it didn't surprise me
At all. We talked about this months ago. We
At
knew
all.
this was coming.
Nancy Pelosi is going to be the president of the United States. Watch, because they both acquiesce to what she says. She's running the show. And so you could go back to articles way back to 2017, and they were already talking about Kamala was going to be the president. Now, if she couldn't get the black vote running for president, what make you think she could get it now as vice president?
Because here's what's happening. I've seen on my Facebook today, black women are behind this. They are loving this fact. I've even seen some of them say, hey, we know her history and what she's done, but the optics of a black woman progresses her.
Symbolism.
The symbolism.
It's no better than
progresses.
if Oprah herself was the vice president.
Man, they could have made any black woman vice president.
It wouldn't have
bro.
mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered. That's all they wanted was a black
Now,
woman.
this was brought to my attention, and I think there's something to this. I was talking with a friend of mine, and he said, you know what? They were never going to pick any of those other women. You know why? Because Kamala Harris is the prettiest. It is never going to have an unattractive female vice president or president if you have the choice between the pick of a bunch of ugly ones and the pretty one. They're going to pick the prettiest one, qualified or not, but that's another topic for another time. That helped her out a lot.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of this shit. I'm just tired of us looking over the bullshit. It's bullshit.
I've been
After
saying
more
But
bullshit.
here's the
If
thing.
you're a Californian or if you lived in California for any extended period of time, you know this woman's record is bullshit.
Shitty.
terrible.
Well, it's like what Miles said.
mean-
They're angling for the black woman vote. I don't think it's so much the black man vote because
Right.
if you look at the polls, Trump's actually
they got the
polling
black
really
man
well
vote with
among-
Biden. They got the black man vote with Biden because people see Biden and they see Barack. And so unfortunately, those who don't think for themselves, the minute they see Biden, they see Barack. They're either going to see Barack or they see that he's not Trump. So they're going to go, either one of those feels to what they want.
Yeah.
So they got the black man vote with that. This solidified what they wanted, which was all the minority vote.
Well, because they know the black community, I've talked about this a lot, is
They think
generally
he's the Messiah.
It's a matriarchy. It's not a patriarchy.
Oh, no
So
doubt it is.
Don't go with me on that. So we're going to shore up the black woman vote. And they are counting on the sisterhood to shame the brothers and say, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, because they're going to say, you're not voting for Joe Biden, you're voting for Kamala Harris.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
If you don't vote for Kamala Harris,
Then you're not supporting
you're
black
not
women.
supporting black women, you're not lifting us up. They're going to do that. So I think that was part of their calculation. At least if I was in Joe Biden's camp, that would be a part of my
But it's not
calculation.
Joe Biden's camp, and that's the problem. We got to understand that it's not Joe Biden.
Yeah,
who
Joe
said-
Biden is
Joe
a-
Biden didn't step out and say, "Please give me Kamala" for any reason. The Democrats to
Exactly.
their T to everything they've always done. They set this up and they prayed
and
us.
I've told you he's weekend at Bernie's.
We know that.
So
we know that.
the issue is do you feel like we're being pandered to? She was a pander
Hell,
pig.
when
Do people care that they're being pandered to? I don't think black people care.
They don't care
Because we're too in love with symbolism.
We're too in love with symbolism. We've
Symbolism.
been taught symbolism since the history books, right? And so,
Okay, not to cut you off. How ironic is it that at a time where BLM is at the forefront, news,
Right.
everything that's going on, we pick a VP that
Who-
literally was against everything BLM stood for when
Literally.
she was in office.
And not only
Literally.
against everything BLM stood for, she was literally on the side of the police. And I made this post. And I deleted
Every
it.
single time.
I made this post and I deleted it just because I didn't feel like arguing on Facebook today. But I literally said, there's nowhere in the world you can support George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and support Kamala Harris. at the
Well,
same
I
time.
would like to know if somebody could give me a combination of president and vice president who have put more people in prison.
Never. You ain't going to happen.
Between the
I
two
was
of
just
them.
thinking that.
Hold on, not just people in prison, black people
men
in
in
prison.
prison.
That's the
Yeah.
irony.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
the
that's
joke.
the-
The joke is who's put more black people in prison: Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, or Donald Trump and his vice.
That's not a joke. That's the truth.
It's the-
I mean, I know that.
Yeah.
all-
but you know,
people are so angry at Donald Trump because of what he does.
it is
and what he
literally
says.
causing people to go insane.
I said it today on my blog. We will accept a side of soft shit as a meal to anything but Trump.
Anything.
Anything but
Well,
Trump.
People said
Well,
that.
I
Somebody
say
said
this.
today on the thing, and not to cut you off, but somebody said today, I would have voted with Biden if he picked Big Bird. And I said he did pick Big Bird.
And look, that's the sad part about it is the bar has been lowered so low to where you could just tiptoe over it.
Right.
And a lot of the things that we're looking at, we're not looking at in its totality. We're just looking at the present things that we are mad at. And when it comes to Kamala Harris has a terrible record. A terrible record. Joe Biden has a terrible record. But as long as you're a Democrat, I'm going to say it, you could be anti-black. You can say whatever you want to say.
Whatever you want.
Well,
to.
it's
You
like
can
like
say
it's like
that you-
Tino said, soft shit.
You know what, Delvin?
It doesn't matter.
You're
Speaking of Tino-
a monolith. You can't think for yourself.
Not
and
allowed
these are
to.
And what gets me is when people talk about even Joe Biden, if you talk about his past, they'll be like, well, that was his past.
I think he's changed. When they tell me I think he's changed.
And then he says something else the same day.
Right. It's like, no, but I think, but you know.
He hasn't changed. He's senile.
Right.
He's saying what he feels. He's saying what he feels. But
so look what the viewers are going to, people who are going to watch this podcast and hear this topic.
They're going to kill us.
No, what they're going to do is they're going to say, so you four guys are sitting up here complaining. So what's the alternative?
I would say I would vote for Joe Jurgensen. My thing is this right now. When it comes down to politics, to be honest, I'm aiming at the 2024 election. Because at this point in time, to me, it's a wash. And so I would like people to take it more seriously in the primaries when we can at least sift through things and pay attention and we can see the games and the manipulation, but we fall right into it and then we're trapped. Now we're voting for the lesser of two evils.
It's like.
Can I say this real quick? You said as long as you voted for lesser of two evils, they'll keep giving you evils. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what you said. We were talking about sports last week. You know, nobody's really paying attention until the finals.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
we should have been paying attention during the regular season. Now the finals are here, and you got all kinds of shit to say.
You got to pick a choice. You
Right.
pick a side.
And look, there's something I want to say to what Delvin said about Kamala being prettier. Stacey Abrams, I knew she didn't have a chance because I knew that she looked like somebody auntie that might come outside with some rollers in her hair. And when I seen that, I say no, she is too what you would consider black. So I knew it was going to come down to Susan Rice and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is safe. And one more thing, Wall Street has no problem with Kamala Harris. No. I knew he could never pick Elizabeth
because they know
Warren.
Wall Street knows we can buy her off.
If you look at it, go look at the difficulty. She already has so many conflicts. She is a Wall Street establishment
Why do you
Democrat.
think Susan Rice lost that battle?
Because she got baggage from the Obama administration, and I don't know why they would want to deal with that less than they would want to deal with Kamala Harris. But we don't know what Susan Rice felt about running either. But the thing about Kamala Harris that I'm going to tell you I think she's going to be brilliant at, she's going to dismantle Donald Trump and Mike Pence. She's going to dismantle Donald Trump via Mike Pence in that one debate that they get.
She's going to kill Mike Pence.
She'll kill Mike Pence.
Now let's look at again. We're talking about the Barack Obama philosophy because Barack Obama is running this election, from
behind the scenes.
No doubt about it. He's the one who told him, stop taking less press conferences, stop talking so much. And at the same time, Barack Obama chose Joe Biden because of what? He was known as the pit bull of the Senate. Now, what is Kamala Harris? When you get her up there on that debate stage, she is a pit bull. So Joe Biden can still look nice and senile, and you go send this black woman up to be the attack dog. But they don't see how she being set up to be the aggressive one.
I got a
Because
couple
she
questions.
can't not be aggressive.
Let me ask you a question. I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you would date Kamala Harris. Marry Kamala Harris.
In her prime, yeah.
No. Not presidential Kamala Harris. Not vice president Kamala Harris.
Like 30-year-old
Just if you make Kamala Harris walking through city trends, would you date Kamala Harris?
City trends? Well, you know what? Not if I knew Willie Brown. Because you guys know who Willie Brown is in San Francisco. The way that she got her whole career going was by dating a married man.
Yeah, she was a side chick.
He was a side chick. It was well known, and he was putting her in positions that she wasn't earning.
Right.
Because he had so much power, and she would do and bend and flex, whatever way you want to take that, however she had to do to get in these positions.
And look, let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. I already know how it's going to go. They are going to keep her out there. They're probably going to have Barack out there. And they're going to keep Joe. They're going to keep Joe in the basement. And the excuse for keeping him in the basement is going to be it was COVID and we can't have him
the
out.
excuse is going to be we need to show you what kind of vice president we have.
Yeah, but the cover, especially when there's times when he needs to be out there speaking for himself, it's not going to happen.
He went 80-something days without a press conference.
Yeah, they're going to keep him. He's going to have as little exposure as possible. They're going to bring her out
the election.
He could do a Zoom call. They ain't going to let that happen.
And here's the other thing, too, about picking a black woman. Here's the other benefit, is it inoculates her from criticism. She's a woman. Anytime you criticize her or have any policy decision, they're going to say you're attacking her because she's a woman and you're attacking her because she's black. So not only are you a misogynist, you're a racist.
Right.
They would never want to pick a white woman.
You definitely have two minorities in that situation. Let me ask you this. So I know amongst us, for the last month or so, especially with Tyrone and I, we said we weren't leaning our votes toward Joe Biden. You, especially in the first episode, kind of said, hey, what's the alternative? You know, you were leaning toward Joe Biden somewhat.
I would still vote. I mean, at this point, I still would vote for them.
So let me ask you, so if you hate it so much, why give them their vote?
Because there's really no other alternative.
There is an alternative.
You could vote for Joe Jorgensen, but does she have? Oh, I mean, here's my thing about voting for her.
So you want to vote for somebody who has a chance to win?
No. Here's my thing about voting for her. If I knew that America was at the point where we would be woken up to vote and really get a third party candidate in there, then I would vote for her. But I still feel like I'm wasting my vote by voting for a third party.
So you don't feel like you're wasting your vote voting for them?
You know why you feel like that? Because nobody will vote for her because they make you feel like you're wasting your vote.
That's my point.
That's the psychology. You're wasting your vote.
But that's the whole thing.
But
we don't have enough people to buy into that.
So therefore, instead of saying because y'all are not woke and you're not woke, I mean, I'm not saying you're woke. You are woke. But I'm saying if they're not awake, you're just gonna go to sleep with them.
I still don't see any other choice.
So here's my thing.
Personally.
All right.
Other than not
I don't
voting
see
at
it that
all.
way. I don't see it that way. But people tell me all the time that if I'm not voting for Biden, I'm giving Trump a vote.
Nah, I'm voting for
And you
whoever
ain't
I
black.
vote for.
Right.
That's not
You know what I'm
Trump.
saying?
One man,
and
one vote.
for you to tell me that if I don't vote at all, which means that you're telling me that because I'm black, I'm automatically regulated to give my support to the Democrats. Because if that's the case, me not voting at all could be a vote for Biden because I didn't vote for Trump. Like, I don't understand that theory. Like,
Well,
how does that
this
theory
is what
go?
you have to
Do you tell
understand.
that to the white guy at work that doesn't vote at all?
Well,
That he's
this
voting?
is the thing, because there's somebody who's an independent that come down to the middle. Because I say Donald Trump ain't shit. I
He
say
ain't.
that Donald Trump, he does not care about anybody who does not make millions of dollars. All of his policies reflect that. He's a narcissist.
Facts.
He's a terrible communicator, and he's so into himself he can never put anybody forward first. So then if
You
I
could
say,
also never listen to someone.
never.
That's the
And
thing.
so if I say that to a Trump supporter or say, well, I'm looking at a third party candidate, they say, well, that's a vote for Joe Biden. So whichever way you go, people are going to browbeat you and voter shame you into doing what they want you to do.
in our community,
That's why
though,
I have to be honest with everybody here and just say, this is the worst election I've ever been involved in. And as
I don't know about
bad
the
as bad as I feel about
Gore
the
Bush was pretty
combination
damn
that was
bad.
just announced today, I'd still feel like I don't have a choice.
This is
Because
why
I think there's a very tiny sliver of the voting electorate that's even persuadable. I don't know, maybe 15%,
if you're
12,
lucky.
if that maybe. Most people they've already made up their minds. There's no
Partisan lines are
persuading them
drawn.
one way or the other.
Yeah, my thing is this. The reason why I say I don't mind voting for a third party and I don't feel like I'm wasting my vote or voting for somebody who can't win, at some point in time you have to take a stand. If enough people take a stand, that will force the other two parties to have to change. If we never take a stand, we're always going to
Agreed.
switch from soft shit to hard shit,
To
from
soft
stinky
shit.
shit to stinky shit.
To wet
Right.
shit, to stinky shit, to
Always,
funky shit.
every time we're going to vote for the lesser of
So
two
what we're
evils.
going to have to do in this situation is, we're 2 years before that new election, right? The next election, we're going to have to get to working on who that third party candidate is.
I'm starting now
Identifying
talking
them.
about the third party
Not
candidate.
only-
That's what I'm saying.
Not only identifying them, but really putting some muscle behind them.
But are we really going to do that? I don't think as a whole society's
Well,
ready to do
because
that.
you can't wait till 3 months before the election.
No,
to
I
say,
agree with you.
Oh, I'm gonna go.
Well,
and
voting-
vote
I
this
want,
third
yeah,
party
but 3
person.
months before the election, like I'm gonna put my foot down.
You can't do that.
But here's the deal, though. So let's be honest. Those machines are powered by dollars. Those dollars are media dollars. Those dollars come from a lot of places. How, as a people, how do you get those people with those dollars to recognize you? I know
by
nobody.
stop cooperating.
I agree.
You make
so
me
I
feel the
agree.
pain.
So I agree
Cooperating.
with stop. Nobody agrees when I say what I say. People say I'm crazy. I say hold the vote till they give us something to vote for because the Democrats can't win without us.
They can't.
They can barely
It's-
win with
it's-
us.
it's mathematically impossible.
They can barely
And-
win with us.
Yeah,
if
and
we say you not getting shit from us until you give us something that's worth it, and we can tell you ahead of time what that is, then we can get something.
Yeah, you
but as
can't,
long
like-
as we keep falling for this bullshit, then we're going to constantly keep getting bullshit in our face. That's
Like-
why I say your vote, it doesn't matter going toward them. Because regardless if
Kamala
they win or
Harris
don't,
was gonna be
your
on the
vote
ticket
doesn't
since
matter 'cause it's not going to what you
2017.
want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like this. It's like if your mom and dad come to you every day and say you want spaghetti or steak, and then you and your sister vote for steak and she give you chicken, then you know what did your vote really matter?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The next day she come to you and say you want spaghetti or steak, and you vote for steak and she gives you hamburgers. At some point in time, you're going to start fucking voting and saying, you know what? I'm not eating that until you give me something that I want.
We'll go on strike for anything else.
We got to move on to the next topic.
Anything.
Finish it off, Delvin.
Yeah.
We're going to finish it off. Go ahead, Delvin.
Yeah.
What's the moral of the story?
Don't give your vote away for free. If that's how you feel, we have to be able to accept a little pain now to teach the Democrats a lesson that we're not for free. Now, if you holler at us, in the midterms, 2024, and now we're not playing any games. We're not for free.
We're not.
We for the streets right now.
And that don't mean that we're Trump supporters because
Definitely not
that's
Trump supporters.
You guys are using Trump supporters.
No, it just means you want to get the money up front.
Yeah, I want my
Right.
food
I
at
want
the
the money
drive-thru.
up front.
Stop telling everybody who the hell you're voting for.
Look, let me say
Stick that
one
shit
thing
to
real
yourself.
quick. One thing that bothered me a lot is when people kept saying we need a black vice president, a woman. I said no, we need a qualified
Right.
black vice president who cares about black people.
So here it is. We're about to
Facts.
end this right now. I'm telling the world, I'm voting for Bruce's Millions. Vote for nobody.
None of the above. 2020.